YouTube. I want to talk about what happened today. I was bothered that a mechanic didn't come to fix the cars, right? And then someone knocks on the door, and I'm like, oh, great, it's the mechanic. Come to the door, it's not the mechanic. It's a woman from across the street who, it's okay, who an exterminator found this in her house. You know, she called it exterminator. He's a green snake. I believe he's a rough green snake, but I've never seen a smooth one, so I'm not sure which species or which type. He's either a smooth or a rough. But either way, he is so awesome. One, he's long. Look at this. That is long as hell. Also, he's a wild snake, and he is so tame. It's crazy. I don't know if it's because he's a tree snake and they like to stay still, but I've never seen a snake where you could just take from the wild and he's just, like, literally, I just tamed him out in a day. Earlier today, he was freaking out, and by the end of the day, he's totally cool. Like, he's just totally chill, you know? And his name is Midori, which means green in Japanese. You know, it's awesome. Just out of the blue, I got another snake. Well, my first snake. The other ones are Josh's. And I kept this one because he eats crickets and not rodents. Not because I have some ethical problem with that. I don't know. But just because it's cheaper to feed him insects, you know. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, thanks to the Colbert Report, I was also introduced to Isaac Perlman. I don't know if you like classical music, but if you do, listen to the song. If you like the violin, and I love the violin, listen to the song, what is it called? Spanish Dance. It's just, the first note, I was just like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm still surprised at just how cool it is that, you know, because she knew we were the snake people. You just, let's see, say hi, Midori. No, don't. Okay. Look at the camera. Right there. See him? Ah, it's so cute. Alright, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Oh, anyway, I just wanted to say that, and sorry I didn't have another video out already, but I spent the night at my parents' house. I was helping my mom with her homework. Oh, that's a strange sentence. Yeah, I was helping my mom with her homework. She's in school for nursing, to become a nurse's assistant. Eventually, I'm pretty sure she's gonna go to be a nurse, and to talk to my dad. I went through my philosophical journey and came out on the other side, and I want to help him too, because his issues are a little deeper than mine. I realized who I was at 26. He's in his 40s, so that could be rough, you know, when you take stock and you realize the reality of the situation and you start seeing clearly. But I don't want him to be depressed anymore, you know. I don't want my dad, it's stressing him out, it's starting to, you know, I want to, you guys don't know what mental illness can be like. it it makes everything stressful, things that don't need to be stressful, and it's taken its toll on him. Not to mention the economy hit my parents hard. You know, they were actually people. We talk about the subprime mortgage crisis in abstracts, but they were selling their house, two houses, my grandmother's house and their own house. They were selling them both when the subprime mortgage bubble burst. You know, but yeah. So I want to help him, and basically the negative self scripts that we both have. I've worked myself through them. I want to help him do the same because he's a good guy. My dad constantly tries to better himself. He's always on a journey to try to better himself, and the only thing that you know gives him trouble. I mean, we're the same in a lot of ways. So once I was on the pills, it at least allowed me. The pills did not fix me. I made a video. Actually, the pills allowed me to make YouTube videos for the first time. Remember, that opened my door to the road to philosophical enlightenment. I don't consider myself enlightened, but I'm definitely further down the path than I used to be. Intellectual honesty is an important step. You just can't walk. There's someone who just started making videos again, and he hadn't made them in a while. He's harsh. He tells the truth, and he's reality-based. And even some other atheists don't like him because he told the truth about a lot of atheists. That is their ego, But it's men of the infinite. If you want to go to if you want to challenge your core beliefs, whether you're atheist or Christian, go to his oldest video and just watch him in order. Trust me. If you're sick of certain things getting a pass because they're more philosophy based, like Eastern philosophy, now I'm not saying there's anything bad, but there are some things that are bad. For instance, the whole Tibet-China thing. China is a bad government, essentially. There's no denying that. Tibet is definitely oppressed nowadays. Again, there's no denying that. But the whole Lama thing, understand something. Before China came, Tibet, their lamas, it wasn't the peaceful shit it is now. No. If you looked at the lamas the wrong way, you died. Thousands died for not bowing at the right time. You know what I mean? Any perceived disrespect towards the enlightened ones was a problem. Also, there's personality cults that are competing. People don't hear about that. That there's another person who declares himself the Lama, and the Dalai Lama really doesn't. He wants to maintain his. It's interesting because he seems like a good person. He's the Dalai Lama, but he's not doing anything to stop the personality cults that surround him. And the two cults are having conflicts. And a lot of times, again, believe me, I am unbiased on this because both the Chinese and Tibetan government, I'm not too particularly concerned with that. You get what I'm saying? It's like right now we are just choosing between the lesser of two evils because, again, I'm telling you, Tibet before China, I'm not saying China improved anything, but the lamas back then were an extreme religious cult in Tibet, not in other places. I'm not talking about Buddhism or Eastern philosophy, but when people say Eastern philosophy, maybe Taoism, because philosophical Taoism, because it's very hard to get anything specific out of it that you can use to hurt anyone with, but it's still possible. Uh, so while I definitely think Taoism is the least, and Taoism does, I'm gonna admit, it does inform my philosophy, parts of it. I don't know. Um, but what matters is that we see things as they are, not as we want to see them. If you're concerned with your philosophical growth, again, I highly, highly suggest you watch all of Men of the Infinite's videos, and he also has another channel called Men of the Finite, um, which is more domestic things like video responses and stuff. But again, trust me on this one. Go to him, subscribe, and watch his videos. Don't just stop watching because he said one thing you didn't like about one atheist. He's still a human. He's going to have his likes and dislikes, but they're actually based on, he has a reason for everything, it seems like. Anyway, he's convinced me. So, yeah. You know. I guess that's all. I'll be making a video tomorrow. I had to revise the video I was making, mainly due to Movie Bob, or the Game Overthinker. It was a video about Metroid Other M. Now, ironically, Movie Bob addressed all the criticisms of retarded people, because a lot of those criticisms were just downright retarded, which is why I hate it when retarded criticism gets mixed in with legitimate criticism. Like, my only criticism was that they took a female character that was famous for not being over-sexualized, and made her take her clothes off, her armor off every few minutes, so that we could see her all skin tight and stuff. Believe me, I liked Dead or Alive. Boobies are awesome. No, boobies. Who says that anymore? But, yeah, don't get me wrong, Dead or Alive, awesome, loved it. What was her name? The one who does kung fu and is kind of weird and, like, gorgeous. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the beach volleyball thing that he made, Team Ninja. I understand why those games exist. If I was at a party and my choice was between a Mario game that has the same exact mechanics, like the volleyball and stuff, of course I'm going to pick the hot chicks. But again, that's not a game I think I'd buy. Because I guess it's a self-parody, sort of, but it is kind of ridiculous. But to take something like Metroid, I guess my biggest issue with it was, I like how they made the character deep. I didn't know about the whole post-traumatic. That's amazing. I love that. In fact, I've already thought of stories where... I'll get to it one day. One day I'll tell you my story. The story I thought of, my opus Dei. The story I've been thinking of since I was 14. But I have to do it perfectly, so that if it fails, I know deep down that it failed because of the idea wasn't as great as I thought it was, and not because I didn't present it correctly. Because if someone stole this idea, it would bother me a lot. I think that's all for now. But yeah, that video, I have to revise it because 2 of the criticisms I had were, invalid. But I still think the criticism that they could have done everything they did, just don't make her take her clothes off every few minutes. No, that was why she was a cool character. Well, that wasn't why she was a cool character, but like Nintendo. I can look at Nintendo, I can point to Nintendo when parents say that all games are violent. I can say, look, there's a whole bunch of Mario games that are pretty good. For adults, at some point, you keep making the same game over and over again. I was never that into Mario to begin with. But I'm so thankful Mario and Sonic and stuff exists, because it's a pacifier for paranoid parents. It's so that they can indulge in the gaming industry without buying their kid violent stuff. Or whatever. Metroid Prime, or Metroid, was Samus was one of the few characters that we really did have a strong female character, mainly that didn't take her... Movie Bob's did miss the point. Well, no, he didn't miss the point. All the criticism he got, I don't know, I try not to call people stupid, but man, if you were the ones that criticized Movie Bob and you're criticizing him for stupid shit, like the deep and, I thought, interesting thing about her actually having post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, because something killed her family in front, that's adding depth to the character. I didn't know people were criticizing that. I thought what made her weak was not what made her weak. I thought what bothered most people was the whole not... I disagree with Movie Bob about another thing. He says that normally you just find the equipment, and the whole Adam allowing her to, you know, use her equipment was just a less contrived... I disagree. There's a much easier way that could have been done. It could have been something digital, like some sort of AI. It could have been an access code thing, that is the enemy hacked this, because remember, it's cybernetic, right? It's a mechanical suit, meaning it can be hacked, it can be effed with. They could have done that. They could have sequentially unlocked parts of the armor because it was hacked. You know, she has to fix the arm. You get what I'm saying? Rather than just having broken pieces spread all. I admit, but they didn't have to go straight to what they did. There is a lot of Japanophobia. People are saying, of course they made her sexualized because they added Team Ninja. Hey, dumbasses. I'm pretty sure the original Metroid was a Japanese game too, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm relatively sure. That doesn't make any sense. What are you saying? Why are you saying that? Of course it's going to be sexist. The original Metroid, I'm pretty sure it was a Japanese game. That the original maker was Japanese. I mean, I could be wrong. Oh, and anyone out there who's thinking, I actually played one Metroid game once. I speak from an industry standpoint, much like Movie Bob. I worry about the industry. And when I see them take one of the characters that wasn't sexualized, that decidedly had her armor on most of the time, it bothers me. Because that's, you know, we have a shortage of female characters that aren't just, you know, one-dimensional. And I like how they added dimensions to her. I just don't like that they had to do it with a skin-tight leotard 90% of the time. Again, I'm not saying I'm against that. That is hot. That's awesome. Make a new IP with that. A new game where you have a chick that's got armor on and shit, and she takes it off and does that. We have like 500 of those. Don't take the one, you know. I just thought it doesn't make it any easier. Like Chris Rock said. Chris Rock used to defend rap when the lyrics were actually more clever, but when they started being like, I'ma wet you, skeet, 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 Chris Rock is like, you're not making it easy for me to defend rap. Team Ninja, you're not making it easy for me to defend, you know, there's a difference between talking about misogyny and there literally being no strong female characters that actually still have emotion, you know, depth. So, swing and a miss, Team Ninja. Swing and a miss. That's all. Until my next video, try to make the world a better place, and I will too.